Salvete omnes. Let's continue with the Aeneid, Book 1. Constitit carcumque manu celeresque sagittas, corripuit spidus quae tela gerebat Achates, ductoresque ipsos primum capita alta ferentes, cornibus arboris sternit, tum vulgus, et omnum miscet agens telis nemorenter fondea turbam. Let's start from the beginning. Here he stood firm, and he snatched up his bow and his swift arrows with his hand, which weapons faithful Achates was carrying. And he lays low the leaders themselves, bearing their lofty heads with with tree-like antlers first. And first he lays low the leaders themselves, bearing their lofty heads with tree-like antlers. Then he lays low, sternit, repeated again, then he lays low the crowd, and, driving them with his weapons, he mixes the entire crowd amidst the leafy grove. So this is entirely just a description of Aeneas shooting at some deer. We have the three leaders themselves, the three stags that were leading the entire herd. So Aeneas lays them low first, and then he scatters the entire herd with his arrows. Up here, remember Aeneas is the subject of constitit, corripuit, and sternit, and miscet. Aeneas is the one doing all of these actions. And this heek has a long eye, so it means here. Here he stood firm, and he snatched up his bow and his swift arrows with his hand. Weapons which faithful Achates was carrying. Now in ancient times, or in classical times, brave heroes and noblemen would often have their companions carrying their weapons for them. Achates would do this for Aeneas. Fidus Achates was carrying Aeneas' weapons and following him around, and he would produce them when Aeneas needed the weapons. Patroclus would carry Achilles' weapons in the Iliad, and Hylas would carry Hercules' weapons. It was a common thing for heroes to have their companions carrying their weapons. And so then he lays low those three leading deer, and then he lays low the crowd, and driving them with his weapons, telis, with his weapons, he mixes the entire crowd between the leafy forests. Now notice here that before the deer were described as an augmen, so that's more like an organized line, a column, a train, something that's very organized. But here we have omnem turbam, and we know turbam means crowd. It's like a mixed, mingling crowd. So it's just a note to the contrast here, that with Aeneas' presence and his shooting of the arrows, that organized column turns into an utter mess.